Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the best new build for Vex in Borderlands 4. After the patch that we just got, she actually has some pretty major buffs to all three of her skill trees. I'll be showing you the best way to utilize the different buffs that she did get in this latest patch. Now, bleed is obviously very powerful for her, but we also have a lot of other weapons that work fantastic on this build, so we're breaking out all of that in this video. I'll be showing you all footage in Ultimate Vault Hunter 5. And the great thing about this build is she's pretty much immortal. With the life steal that you get from this, it can actually do crazy amounts of damage. And on top of all this, you got your Eldritch Blast here, which also got a pretty substantial damage boost overall. So this is really nice to see that they are going ahead with the buffing, not learning. They learned from the mistakes of Borderlands 3, where we don't want to have things nerfed pretty heavily. So I'll be showing you the best choices here and a brief overview of the build. So we're going to be utilizing the Vexgalation Skrill tree here. I will be posting a future video on the Phase Familiar here, because Trouble did get a buff, but the buffs here are quite substantial, because Eldritch Blast got a big boost to its damage, so did Heart Piercer here, and we're obviously going to be utilizing the heavy damage that we get from Bleed, and then utilizing some of the other strategies here, like Bloodshot, in addition to having a different class mod that's going to help further boost this up, and we will dip into the red skill tree for a bit of extra damage. So everything in this skill tree got a boost. This has a 25% damage boost on Energy Vampire. There's a 45% boost to Geist Wave, or 41%. And then again, the Heart Piercer got that 22% damage boost. But starting off from level 1, the Leeching Attunement is going to be our best choice here. So the way that this works is whenever we're attuned to kinetic, meaning we have a gun that doesn't have any elemental damage out, we get a decreased damage life steal, which will give us 10% of the damage we deal back as health. And further on, we can do that as shield and overshield. But during this duration, it's 6 seconds. So basically, if you have a kinetic weapon out and you swap to an elemental, for those 6 seconds, you're going to be able to apply the lifesteal on top of the damage that you're dealing. So you can swap to some other weapons. And once we make it here, we're going to be taking the Bloodletter. This is actually a very big damage boost. So gunning critical hits will have a chance to apply bleed, causing kinetic status effect damage for a duration. And this means that we can apply a status effect, which can apply some other bonuses from different gear, because if we apply a status effect, sometimes you get different things similar to like bleed, or similar to like shock or fire, and this gives us an increased damage, as you can apply 20 stacks and does 30% of the gun damage per second. So this becomes crazy. Now for our very first augment, Geist Wave got a massive boost to its overall damage, so this actually makes it worth choosing now, whereas Energy Vampire is nice if you're playing and want a bit more survivability, as this will apply overshield to you, and it did get a boost to its damage, which is nice, but this is just great for survivability, whereas Geist Wave hits a big explosion, and it'll deal ordnance damage to enemies it passes through, which is pretty good. You see there's 6,000 damage, quite nice. I like the Energy Vampire, though. Just being able to get the overshield early on is quite nice. And then this takes us down to our level 10 through 15, which we're going to take the material components. So we get, in fact, increased kinetic damage. Obviously, that's very good. And kinetic status effect damage. So that gives us 35% boost to our damage and 20% extra bleed. Now, once we get down to here, our best augment is actually going to be taking the Witchy Trigger Finger. So dealing damage with Eldritch Blast or the Phase Explosion will fully refill your ammunition. So the Phase Explosions, when you activate your skill, if you run out of ammo, activate your skill, you get your bullets back, shoot your gun, and then you can use an Eldritch Blast and get it back again. So this will give us also plus 50% damage whenever we have a stack of Witchy Trigger Finger, and this can give us an upwards of 45% extra damage. This is by far the best. There is some other nice options here, but we have a actually boost to the Ars Arcana here. So this now gets upwards of 9% skill damage. It used to be 8, which is a great change. This will be good too. Grave Vitality can give you 50% extra health capacity when you have full stacks. But furthermore, you can actually get this upwards with a +4. So you can get actually 90% extra health whenever you get kill skills, which is actually pretty nice. This will give you a lot of extra health, but I personally prefer the Ars Arcana, because this is now a 45% skill boost onto our Eldritch Blast, which is a very good choice. The Grave Harvest is okay. I still, again, prefer Witchy Trigger Finger. Now, once we get down here, there's a couple of really powerful, actually, all of these are really powerful options. Bloodshot is the best choice, though. Whenever we use a Repkit, our next gunshot will become Bloodshot, dealing damage in kinetic and dealing bonus damage based on our current health. This becomes pretty crazy, so we want to use our Repkits, especially the triple bypass. When we get the 3 Repkit usage, it becomes insane. Also, the Essence Leech is pretty good. This just gives us flat out lifesteal, and when our action skill is active, it's doubled, so that can give us 20% lifesteal, which becomes crazy. I think this one ends up being a good choice, but I like to put 1 point in here for the extra lifesteal. Then we'll take Heart Piercer for a Capstone. This is a really powerful Capstone. It got a buff of 22% extra damage, and Eldritch Blast also got an 11% damage buff, or 90.5% damage buff, and Phase Explosion also got a damage buff. So all these things combined together give you your ammo back, And this will utilize your health, but hear me out on this. It's actually really good because you get your health back. You get 150% of sacrifice health. So whenever you deal damage, you get it back. But on top of all that, it's not a big deal because we also regenerate our health with our lifesteal. So this is really good because you can just use that. And it no longer will have a cooldown for Eldritch Blast, so you can spam it. This becomes really good with the damage buff. Now, I want to take one Essence Leech because I think taking Blood as Power is best. So Vex gains bonus kinetic damage with her guns based on current lifesteal when her health is full. So going all the way in on this thing can be 300% of the lifesteal. So you can actually get a massive boost to your overall damage there. So that's why I like to go with these points into these skill trees here. And after that, it's actually probably best for us for levels like 30 through 40 to come into this skill tree here, because this is actually a crazy big buff. So this will give us 37.5% bonus kinetic damage when our action skill is active. So whenever we have our Eldritch Blast out, we're going to be doing an extra 37.5% damage, which is really good. I also like the increase with the blood magic. This gives you increased action skill damage at full health. And also Hasty Fiends can be really nice. This gives you 15% extra movement speed, which is just enough to be nice. But it also gives you a 20% damage reduction, which is actually quite massive. So it's effectively 20% more health and shields, which is great because we got lifesteal too. So getting that, I think, is actually a worthwhile choice. Just reducing the damage we take so we can lifesteal back. Now, another thing we want to do is we want to have our Repkit. Actually, she has a weird build where she can actually utilize her Repkit. So what you could do is you could actually go here, increasing your gun damage at full shield. So with a class mod, it's an extra 42% damage at full shields, which we're going to get with a specific class mod that lets us lifesteal onto our shields. And then you can go down here and take this, which will give you increased action skill cooldown rate at full shields, which is really nice. But I also like the restorative tonic. So whenever you use a Repkit, you get shield restoration for a duration. It is 4% per second. You can stack this all the way up and get an extra 12% shield restoration for 4 seconds. That's actually quite a big boost. It's 60% of your shield back right from using a Repkit, especially because we can get a Repkit with 3 charges. This is kind of like an oh shit button. You can use this and get your health back really quickly. I actually don't like any of the other passives here, so this is something you can skip. But this is also nice too. The Guns and Needles will give you your Repkit back whenever you get kills. And with a specific one, you can get your Repkit back really quickly. This is also nice because you can get increased movement speed for 10 seconds, 30% extra, and 30% fire rate after using a Repkit. So we can actually kind of build around our own Repkit here, and I think that that is actually pretty useful because when we have our full health, we get in full shields, we get extra damage. The damage reduction is also there, 58%. So whenever you get lower in health, we got a bit of extra survivability. This will give us our shield back. This one can give us either we can go with the movement speed or we can go with the Repkit cooldown, and it really just depends. I think the better choice here is to go with the Fiendish Invigoration here because this gives you a big boost to your overall movement speed and damage from the fire rate. As for specializations, there's a couple that actually synergize extremely well with this. You don't have to be this high level, but the best defense, 30% extra damage whenever we have full health, and we're going to have that often. And also, we're going to have full shields as well, so that's a plus 30% damage, massive. Now with Caffeine is possibly the best one here. This gives you 25% of your cooldown of your action skill reduced whenever you use a Repkit. With 3 charges, we can basically get this back almost infinitely. So this is really good. Plus, with some of the augments we got, we can get our action skill back like really fast, and I'll show you that. This here, 27% extra action skill cooldown is really nice too, but again, not essential. I am a gun. Action skill damage now benefits from gun damage boost, so 50% of the gun damage boost now applies to your action skill. This is actually a pretty big boost to our Eldritch Blast as well. And I like the Honed Vine. This allows you to critically hit enemies with your Eldritch Blast and deal additional damage to them. However, if you do not want the I am a gun, another good choice if you want to go with something a little bit different would be either a one-shot, one-kill, which will add excess damage onto your next shot. And it's never a bad idea to go with Riddle You This. A plus 50% damage is always a good choice. And this is a really nice one to have as well, but we can roll with these here. Now, the best class mod would be the Teen Witch class mod legendary. Whenever Vex has her maximum health, her lifesteal partially applies to shields. When Vex has maximum shield, her lifesteal also applies to overshield, which is just absurd the amount of damage that you can get back. This also gives us a plus 10% lifesteal. And I got lucky with this one, a 45% shotgun damage, which means Hot Slugger ends up being crazy. It also has a 90% boost to its damage, so that's crazy too. There's a lot of other good choices though here. The Technomancer can apply Ordnance damage to your Eldritch Blast, which will reset the Eldritch Blast cooldown whenever you get a kill skill. And this can give you plus 45% Ordnance damage, plus 20% damage there. So this actually would be the most damaging option if we wanted to go with this. And then also actually has some pretty good rolls for the skill tree points. Ordnance damage boost on that is really nice. I do like any of these here. This one is Shotgun and Ordnance. But I do think the ones that, either this here, the Undead Eye, whenever you get a kill with a sniper rifle, you can trigger the Bloodshot, which is the same thing we would get from our Repkits. critically hit an enemy with a sniper rifle has a 33% chance to get a bloodshot. This one also comes with a 45% boost to sniper rifle damage, as does this one. This one's actually probably a little bit better. This was actually a really crazy one. So this actually gives bloodshot on the sniper rifle plus 40% kinetic damage and plus 45% sniper rifle damage, and a further boost up high caliber, which is one that we definitely want. But I like getting the extra overshield. These are both extremely good. Being able to get bloodshot gives you extra life steal, and this one will actually make you stay alive a lot longer. Now, actually, one of the best shields, I like fireworks for anyone, just for mobbing. This is great. The Timekeeper's new shield is also really good because with the Timekeeper's new shield, you just increase your overall health, and then it gives you a massive health pool to work with. But even furthermore to that, you also get damage reduction by 33%. And we also have a 20% damage reduction as well, so you can take a lot more damage this way. But I'm also a big fan of the Onion Shield, and here's why. So when an armor segment breaks, you get immunity to damage for 2 seconds. This has 4 segments, and we can respawn our own armor. So Onion probably ends up being the absolute best shield here, but don't be afraid to try out the Timekeeper's new shield. You would use a bit of a different augment. You wouldn't go with the Shielded Teen Witcher. You'd use the one that increases your bloodshots, but it's actually pretty crazy, the survivability that we get. And by far the best option for a enhancement would be this one. These are randomly farmed, by the way. This gives you a 40% chance to ricochet non-critical hits. This one increases shotgun damage by 38%, plus 45%. Our hot slugger hits hard with this. And on top of this, this also gives us critical hit stacking, so you can get some crazy damage numbers with that enhancement there. Really, any of the Jacobs ones are going to be good. There's ones that will increase your ricochets by 1, which are nice. Now, the critical knife, obviously, that's the best one in the game. However, we also have some ordnance here that will apply our bleed on them. So the bestowed streamer there with its firing shots is pretty nice. And then you can also go with the slippy grenade too if you want to build a bit around melee damage. Now, as mentioned, the triple bypass is going to be the best one. This isn't a perfect roll. The best roll would be one of these with the additional 200% extra damage, amping up your shot, because that means that our hot slugger can pretty much one-shot people. This becomes pretty crazy. However, this one gives us overshield, so you can press this as an O shit button again, and this will keep you alive, but also give you a bit of overshield so that you can stack your specializations extra damage. Now, for the best weapons, I actually love the GMR. You may not have ever used this gun before. It's kind of an underrated one, but the reason I like it so much is that it can critical hit and chain off to multiple enemies. But all on top of that, it also is kinetic damage, and it shoots like a normal AR despite being an order gun. So order guns, you have to charge them up and shoot them. This actually has crazy high damage, and it gets increased damage if you aim down sights. The best weapon here, if you want to use the Stray, this is just crazy because this will home in on enemies, critical hits will ricochet, and this is great, especially with the class mod that adds a bloodshot to your sniper rifle attacks because you're going to get critical hits pretty easily with something like this. Hot Slugger, as mentioned, very good weapon, 90% boost to the damage, critical hits will ricochet, and I have a few different buffs that give us crazy shotgun damage. And Wombo Combo, this is actually an underrated weapon. Now, this actually has corrosive damage on it, but the rockets are kinetic damage, so you can swap to this. I don't love utilizing that too much, and I think that there's many other good options here. Like, if you wanted to go with a different shotgun, there's TK's Wave, which is actually really good, and this will ricochet to multiple enemies. I like TK's Wave quite a bit. The Oscar Mike Space Laser, which is funny enough, counts as kinetic damage. You can utilize the amp, and that 17,000 damage every 0.2 seconds will actually get boosted up if you have the amp version of the triple bypass, so that can be insane damage as well. AC May is also a pretty decent shotgun. Any shotgun that's going to be like the bod here, which is perfect for this build actually too, because with the bod, it counts as all different types of guns. It gets the shotgun buffs and all the other gun buffs, but the damage from this is really high because it shoots pretty quickly there, and it's all it's all kinetic damage. So to put this all together in terms of combat, so we can utilize the Stray here. Just this is the dad gamer weapon. You just equip this and you just run around, and it's automatically going to hunt down people and get some easy shots in for you. Especially with the boost that gives you bloodshot and sniper kills if you have that class mod equipped, it's going to be pretty crazy. But we also got the GMR, which is the gun I mentioned is really good. So you can see here, the damage and its chaining around is extremely effective. This gives us pretty easy overshield as well, which is going to further boost up the damage that we do. And if you aim it in, it does a bit slower firing, but the damage is much higher and will chain around to multiple enemies, doing tons of damage as well. So this is a really fun gun if you just want an assault rifle that's going to do no extra damage, because some of the best are all elemental assault rifles. This is just a good one that's going to be easy to aim. You can hip fire this gun and it's going to be pretty accurate. The damage from it is crazy, and it's just an overall good weapon to use. Now, as mentioned, the bot is also quite nice too. This is more so a gun that you just get up in their face and spray them with. And the bot actually can come in a variety of different appearances. So this one I have to charge up first. You can get ones that have like torque stickies that come out. So yeah, this gun is really powerful as well. And this is without even having to use our action skill just yet. But the Hot Slugger obviously being one of the most powerful weapons here. So the thing with the Hot Slugger is you can press reload and keep shooting it even quicker and quicker, just like that. And then if we need to use our action skill, that big explosion there is pretty effective. And then we can go ahead with our Eldritch Blast, which you see rips and tears through enemies because it gets the extra damage boost from all the different skills and abilities that we have on it. So it can actually dish out some pretty crazy damage. And it's going to heal you. You can see I'm kind of blocking, but I have Overshield 9000 right now. So pretty crazy Overshield because all of this is going to heal us and give us the Overshield back. So as long as you're dishing out a ton of damage, you're going to be literally just lighting things up. And then you can go ahead with using your Repkit here to basically give you your action skill back right away. And then against bosses here, this is going to be where it really shines. The critical hit knife, obviously, it stacks and makes bleed nuts. It's probably going to get patched at some point because it makes your bleed stack even quicker. You're going to see here with that, all critical shots, it makes our bleed damage nuts. So yeah, that strategy will probably get nerfed, but it keeps us overshield full, basically, and then we can go ahead spamming our action skill again. So yeah, whenever you're doing this, the nice thing with the witchy trigger fingers is going to continuously keep reloading your gun, and then you basically don't have to do too much. You just have to aim at people, and then if you wanted to have something even crazy, you could just bring out the Stray, and this is just going to give you infinite ammo, and it'll auto-aim to people, so you don't even have to think while you play. You just jump around spamming your Eldritch Blast. The damage potential is insane though, and it's great because it's just going to continually keep filling your health up, giving you insane amounts of survivability, and it's a pretty fun build overall. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Getting that overshield on our gun damage is nuts because this will basically allow you to survive through anything. And if you didn't want to go this route, again, you can use the Timekeeper's new shield, go all in on health, and just use your blood shots from the sniper rifle. So two really powerful abilities here. With the new buffs that Vex got in the latest patch, this is an extremely powerful build. Let me know your thoughts though in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already. I hope you have a great day, and we'll catch you all in the next video.